Welcome back, YouTubers, to another British Fist Wrestling Rundown here on this Friday, where we addressed topics throughout the week. It's something that we would also like you guys to get involved with. We didn't have too much interaction this week, but if you want to give us some thoughts or some topics that we can talk about that is relevant to the week in wrestling, such as Raw, SmackDown, or in the news, let us know. We will shout your YouTube name out and we will talk about the topic. This week we've got a couple we want to talk about, but with British Fist.
Gotcha!
Mr. Parkin here, NJ here.
Hey! What's up?
Away and a what's up. The people have got double dose of their money today, NJ. Subscribe above, like this video, and comment any thoughts on what we're going to talk about down in the comment section below.
And I always watch this, but make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
Were you reading the script?
I was trying to, yes.
So yeah, in this video we're going to talk about many different news topics. There's obviously a lot of big topics that have happened this week with regards to TLC, so we're going to save some of those for last. But the first topic we're going to go into is going to be our thoughts on Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena at TLC and the new stipulation that they've added. So as we found out on Monday, it seems like they're going to be putting the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line. It's now been officially announced. Ziggler versus Cena as a match, I don't mind, but I'm not really sure why they're putting the Money in the Bank briefcase there. I understand they're trying to use the ladder match concept and something has to be there, but why involve John Cena in another match where he can potentially win the Money in the Bank when he's already had it? And surely that would be unfair on Ziggler.
I do look at this match, I think it's pretty ridiculous. Yes, we've had the first thing ever. Cena lost his chance to become Mr. Money in the Bank the first time round, so he's getting a second shot this time for a SmackDown briefcase. Unless that means he's going to switch shows if he wins it, good. But if not, it's still going to get Ziggler. It's still going to get Ziggler's push, rise to the top, and Cena does not need a briefcase to go to be the head of a certain show.
Exactly, which is why I feel that there's no way in hell that Ziggler's loses this match. I mean, he's already lost to Jericho. He already lost to Orton. Now, in my opinion, it's got to a point where he's had so many losses to big names that someone like John Cena at TLC, I really do think he has to beat John Cena. I really do. I mean, if it was a normal match, I would say, you know, Cena could win but make Ziggler look good. But the fact that it's a ladder match and they've now put the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line, I'm sitting there as a fan thinking, they can't have John Cena win this again, surely. And if they do, why?
Well, the way I see it is that Ziggler's reign as Mr. Money in the Bank is coming to an end sometime soon. His year's almost up. So he really needs to obviously have his big wins because he's going to be cashing in at any point, especially when the big pay-per-views coming up like the Rumble, WrestleMania, or even the Elimination Chamber. So he needs the big win. So when he does get the championship, we do believe in him. Beating Cena, yes, it's not in a single one-on-one match. It's a ladder match, but it's still a win over Cena, which he needs. So I'm hoping, even though Cena's in a match he shouldn't be in, we get the right winner.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a shame Cena has pinned him twice already, but like you said, this could be a very big win for Ziggler, especially if they want to back up this Money in the Bank briefcase reign that he's on right now, and when he actually cashes in, which I believe will be on the road to the Royal Rumble personally. But I don't mind the match, Ziggler and Cena. As long as Ziggler goes over here, I think it could be a very good launching point for Dolph Ziggler going into 2013. I'm just unsure as to why they have the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line, really.
I don't agree with the booking, but let's just say this match, Ziggler will be here to show the world.
I've got a quick question for you, NJ. Where's Brodus Clay been recently? I mean, earlier this year he debuted as the Funkasaurus, and while a lot of people may not have got behind the character, it still was a somewhat unique character that you could have seen WWE pushing down the line. But lately, I don't know what he's done backstage or what, but where is he? What's going on with Brodus Clay right now?
In all honesty, I really do not care for Brodus Clay. They may have brought him in strong, but the fact each time they made him look like he was going to go somewhere with the aggressive character against Big Show, a tag team possible thing, to nothing. I really don't care. Yes, he's a wrestler that was being used, but I don't really care for Brodus Clay. So to bring him in, get him involved, I don't see what they're going to do with him now.
I think it's another example of WWE doing this gimmick at the last minute and all of a sudden not really having much direction for him. There were so many creative things you could have done with the Funkasaurus character, whether it had been in a tag team with a Santino, whether it be in that feud against Miz and Sandow, which never really got time to play out to a pay-per-view. But in my opinion, at this point in time, especially in an era where they're trying to appeal more to kids and stuff, they really, in my opinion, missed out the boat on someone like the Funkasaurus, and they never really gave it a chance. They never really put him in a feud, never really give him a big pay-per-view match. It just never seemed like they wanted to go all the way with the Funkasaurus. I would even go as far as to say that they could have used him as an attraction, like a Rikishi, but they never really went down that road.
They could have done more with Brodus Clay, especially when he's the E part in the WWE. But the other thing is, in my opinion, he's always going to be Brodus Clay, the guy who looked like a dominant heel, dominant monster. Yes, you could say we've already got some, but we got Mark Henry, we've got Big Show, we've got Kane, who possibly could be leaving in the next few years. But we need new ones to come in, and if Brodus Clay could have been, instead of the Funkasaurus, could have been the new monster to come in, they've missed out on that, and now he's this kiddie character.
And I guess my thoughts going forward are, do they keep what they're doing? I mean, right now he's not doing anything, he's just a jobber, but will they evolve his character maybe into a monster heel or something down the line? You know, who really knows? I hope they do at least try and do, because the Funkasaurus character clearly isn't working, so change him into this monster heel. Let's face it, do they have many monster heels? Who the fuck is that texting me?
Sadly not. With Brodus Clay, I can see, well, with that thing when he went aggressive against the Big Show, there I saw the Brodus Clay that I wanted to see from the start. But now all he's doing are these stupid dance-offs and these odd matches when they need to fill someone in as a big guy.
So give us your thoughts on the Funkasaurus character and what you think should happen going forward with Brodus Clay, the performer. So on SmackDown this week, we saw some interaction between The Miz and Sandow, and in my opinion, my first thought on the whole thing was, what a logical feud. You've got Miz, not really in a feud as a babyface. Sandow, because Cody has been injured, isn't really doing too much right now. Why not put both of these two in a program? They're both pretty good on the mic. This could be an interesting feud, and I think it's the kind of logical feud that, especially for a Sandow and a babyface Miz, could work both ways, giving them both something to do when they're clearly both not doing anything right now.
The sad thing about this is, yes, Cody Rhodes got that injury and knocked Sandow back a few pegs, because I think they were going to come to tag team champions. The Miz, well, he was teased. He's getting teased against the right people. CM Punk, now Sandow. Great mic talkers who we expected good stuff from The Miz, or Punk, or Miz, and Sandow. With this feud possibly happening, or going to happen, I think the only problem is, you just heard Miz face, so you need to work on that. Sandow is an uprising character. You need to work on that. So you've got to think, who's the feud actually going to benefit for?
I think, considering Sandow has got that tag team to go to in Cody Rhodes, the feud, in my opinion, should definitely benefit Miz, as he's just gone to this babyface. As much as Sandow is a character on the rise, he can go back to his tag team and be on the rise there, whereas I think Miz definitely, in my opinion, needs this push. But my thing, they answered one of the questions we've been answering many times on the Raw rundowns and this video. Give The Miz a feud, and they've also given Sandow a feud, and it makes a lot of sense, and I am all for this feud.
If this happens, I do look forward to it, but yes, it may have to be cut short when Cody Rhodes comes back. For now, two great performers in the ring, two great mic talkers going against one-on-one for a temporary feud. Good stuff.
And hopefully, it won't just be a TV feud, it will be a match which can result in a pay-per-view match, because Miz and Sandow can put on a good pay-per-view match. I hope they do that and not just make it into a silly TV feud. So during the week, we heard a lot of news about CM Punk being injured. Apparently, he was working hurt, and at some point, they needed him to go through surgery. But it's a real shame that this happened at this point in time with CM Punk, and it means that there'll be no WWE Championship match at TLC this year. It means they've had to change the main event. But firstly, just thoughts on the injury with CM Punk.
Well, CM Punk proved that he's a fighting champion, went through Raw. I'm not sure the exact time it happened during Raw, but the fact he managed to the end was very good. And CM Punk getting injured at this point, the fact that he's defended his championship in the past pay-per-views, yes, he didn't always have to defend it, so for him not to defend it at TLC, yes, it was booked, which is a shame, but it's not that bad that he's not having to defend it, but it's a shame what's happened to Punk.
To be honest, I personally think this is a blessing in disguise, because I think, to be honest with you, they were going to have Punk versus Ryback, and they were going to have to find another way of screwing Ryback out. And I think it's sort of point out where Ryback, that would have been his third opportunity at the belt, and the third time he hadn't won the belt. So personally, I think the way this has gone down, Ryback is going to be able to get a win at TLC that may happen, whereas Punk doesn't have to defend the belt. Therefore, that you're prolonging CM Punk's reign into Royal Rumble, into his big match with The Rock, and you're not damaging Ryback too much. A character which WWE really do need to get going on the up towards WrestleMania. So I think it's personally, the injury, terrible thing, of course, but I think it's a kind of blessing in disguise.
When I look at this, and Ryback, yes, he's had bad luck, but he's not actually lost to CM Punk cleanly. Every loss has always been the Shield or Brad Maddox. So this is a bit of a shame for Ryback, but the fact that Ryback's had a tease in the main event or the WWE Championship picture is obviously going to help his future go on. But I do say this, even though he's missed TLC, maybe on a Raw building up to the Rumble, they could still bring up the fact that Ryback was going to get a rematch for the championship and may give it to him on Raw still. But I still don't see him winning, even if that does happen. I
still think that Ryback not getting a title shot is definitely a blessing in disguise for Ryback. They can give him a big win at a pay-per-view and then just move it on from there without damaging CM Punk too much. Now, this brings me on to my next point. Going into the Rumble, obviously, CM Punk has had knee surgery. He's not going to miss Rumble, but it just brings up, I had a question here that I wanted to bring up. It's from AT3479. With Punk now out for TLC, can they really have time to build their feud again with Rumble just round the corner and build a title match with The Rock? I feel it could be rushed to make either Punk or Ryback weak if they just have the match and be done with it, then go on to Rock. Now, I guess what AT3479 is concerned with is the fact that they have to finish this thing with Ryback as well, and then they have to move on to The Rock. And this thing, it may be a bit, especially if Punk doesn't appear on Raw, which apparently I believe he will be, it may be rushed a little bit. I do understand that concern.
Well, that is the point that I was making. The fact that Ryback told Biggie he wants his match, blah, blah, blah. She gave it to him. I do think they're probably still going to follow up on that, or it'd be kind of stupid if they forget that Ryback mentioned he's going to get a championship. So I think maybe they'd have CM Punk come back, the match happen for a warm-up match, or just something. But I think it'd be another screwy finish, just so the Rock thing can happen. But it does leave us wondering how they're going to do this in time between then and the Rumble.
I mean, it shouldn't affect the build going into the Royal Rumble because they've got 6 weeks of build, so it shouldn't affect the build between CM Punk and Rock. I think moving Ryback away from the WWE Championship picture is definitely a good idea, and he concentrates on the Shield. I think that would be much better considering the circumstances, and also going into the Rumble where you're going to want to build a big money drawing match between Punk and The Rock. So personally, it's going to be built up there. I'm not too worried about it as long as he comes back before the end of the year. And he's still going to be, I'm hearing he's still going to be on Raw. They're going to do some sort of injury wheelchair angle with him. So
I do wonder how they're going to move away from Ryback getting his rematch and moving Punk onto The Rock. Because that's going to happen because Rock's promised it. But Ryback's still entitled by the orders of GM and stuff to get his rematch. So I do wonder how they're going to move away from that without just moving off without mentioning anything.
And going into TLC now, we have a match announced. We've had a replacement match. Ryback and Team Hell No versus The Shield. My first thoughts on this are, it's nice to see some new people in a big match. You've got all the people in The Shield. Ryback is in a main event, again, but he's a rising star. Team Hell No, a tag team, are in the main event. I see a lot, I do see a lot, especially the fact that it's a TLC match and, all 6 of these guys can work to some degree in the ring. I think this could be a nice, refreshing match on a pay-per-view, a big match at that.
I can see a positive in this because you gave all these wrestlers something to do. You gave The Shield a pay-per-view match. But my backhand back to this, because I look at this and think, The Shield cut an epic promo just saying what they're here to do. Not once did they say we're going to be taking out the tag team champions. Not once did they say we're going to be focusing on someone lower than the main eventers. So for them to go against Daniel Bryan and Kane, I was a bit like, right, that's not really going with what you said. Yes, it's helped to make this match, but I still think, of all the ones you've attacked, why did you attack them?
Well, I'm not sure, I can't remember what, because we haven't been watching Raw lately, but I just remember them having some involvement with Team Hell No for the last 2 weeks, which is why, they obviously logically made this one with a 3 versus 3 6-man tag match. So for me personally, although you may say The Shield going after Team Hell No is a little bit underwhelming, they're still, the main focus of it is essentially going to be Ryback, and them going after Ryback, the next biggest star in the company, their injustice, so to speak. So in my opinion, I do see a lot of positives in this main event, and it's going to be a 6-man TLC match, which should be pretty good. Some new talent in there, which we haven't really seen in the main event scene, or near the main event scene, really in a long time, apart from Ryback. So I do see a lot of positives from this replacement.
Even though I do question some of the build, I can see the match being good, But we'll leave this for our predictions, but you've got to decide, do you want the base team to win or the first actual wrestling match of the Shield, first pay-per-view match of the Shield, to lose, or is it going to be a screwy finish? But we'll get to more details in our predictions. That's just my question following this pay-per-view.
That is a tough one that we will address in the predictions video. But one thing we're going to address in our next point, really, you've got this replacement TLC match. You've also got a match involving John Cena. Which of these matches is going to main event? That is our next point. So you've got John Cena, who's the biggest draw in WWE right now. But then you have Ryback and The Shield, which is now currently the biggest angle in WWE right now. So, what do you think is going to main event TLC and why? You think it's going to be Cena Ziggler?
The reason I'm going to say that match is because the Ryback match doesn't really have as much of a strong storyline compared to the Money in the Bank, the future World Heavyweight title shot, and Cena as well. The Ryback thing is not for the WWE Championship. It's not got the real strong main eventers like Ziggler and Cena are meant to be. So in my opinion, I think because of it being Cena, because of the Cena one having more future storyline build and direction, I think that one may.
And we've seen throughout the year that when CM Punk has been champion, they've generally gone to Cena for the main event. So it wouldn't surprise me if they had John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler. I'm not sure if WWE see this match as a main event style match. Personally, I think WWE, the reason why they're having the Shield all over the place is because they want to have Ryback and Team Hell No versus the Shield as their main event in a TLC match. But I do see your point. I think the problem here is if they do have this as the main event, then the draw, I'm not really sure the drawing power is really there. Because are the Shield really established? Their NXT guys, are they really established as a draw? Is Ryback really established as a draw? Is Team Hell No really established as a main event draw? You know, you've got to question, this is one of the reasons why they've not been in the main event of a pay-per-view, is if this match was the main event, would it be drawing a load of eyes, or is it just got to a point where WWE are thinking, well, we're just concentrating on the bigger picture, so we're not really too bothered about if it doesn't get a massive buy rate.
And that's the way I see it, because you've got to think, what match is going to be the draw, or which one's going to leave us with a big special moment? Yes, Ryback staying over the Shield could be a good way to finish, or Ziggler standing over Cena on top of the ladder with the briefcase. Something like that. It just depends which one looks big, and I think Ziggler ending a pay-per-view with the win over Cena could be a great finish for him and for the pay-per-view. I
also think either the Shield or Ryback winning could be a big moment, especially going forward. We know Shield are going to be part of WWE's plans in a big angle sort of form, and also Ryback is supposed to be the next big thing. So it really, you know, we don't really know what's going to main event this pay-per-view. I guess only Vince McMahon knows. So we want to know your thoughts. Do you think the main event is going to be a 6-man TLC match involving Ryback, Team Hell No, and the Shield, or is it going to be Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So that's another British Fist Wrestling Rundown Friday video of us, the British Fist. We hope you enjoyed the topics we have done. I'd just like to remind you once more, if you have any talking points that are relevant to Raw and SmackDown and in the wrestling news throughout that week that you want us to address on the Friday, please let us know in the comment section. Let it be known to us through YouTube inbox or something like that, just so we can shout out your name and we can carry on having topics to talk about in this Wrestling Rundown video. And the fact that next week is the Go Show for TLC, if you have any TLC topical related videos or things you want us to bring up, mention them too, and we'll save them for the Friday and talk about it for TLC. Indeed, on the predictions video, which will be next Saturday. So, thank you very much for watching this British Wrestling Rundown. I have been Mr. Parkin. This guy sitting next to me, standing next to me, has been none other than NJ, people. What's up? He's actually sitting down. He's just really tall. Thank you very much for watching this video, and goodbye.